Hello and welcome back to Football Manager 2018 with Blackburn Rovers, the champions of England for the first time since the 1994-1995 season. We are in our final year at Blackburn. I mentioned last episode, possibly, that I have signed a new contract. So, in theory, I'm staying here longer. But, for the purpose of the YouTube series, this is going to be the last season. Before we jump into anything to do with transfers or any football matches or anything like that, we have finally moved to Ronnie Clayton Park, the 40,942 all-seater stadium in the middle of Blackburn, I assume, probably somewhere nearby at least. And I've already asked if they can expand it. So, at the end of the season, they're going to be expanding Ronnie Clayton Park because I think they're going to put it up to about 48,000 because it's not big enough. I'd like to draw your attention to the little number in the top right-hand corner. Our transfer budget of £200,800,680. Our original budget was £107 million, which means we've sold either a lot of players or a big player for a lot of money. Starting with the cheapest deal first, then Anton Gruber has signed for SK Rapid Wien. In Austria, it's 1.8 million, something like that, raising to 3 million. He's never going to cut the mustard. Another player who has left the club is Czech winger/striker Yuri Meslik, who has signed permanently for Rangers up in Scotland. It's going to cost them £3.7 million eventually. Decent bit of money for a player who wasn't that great. For £5.5 million, potentially raising to £8 million, Sif Helele Mabambo has signed for Malaga. I'm a little bit disappointed with this one. I really wanted Sif Helele Mabambo to be a decent player. He wasn't really getting better quick enough. And I think he's got the potential there. I think definitely does have the potential. Maybe when he's at Malaga. He's only 23. So he's still got easily 5 years left in him. Like a decent level. Maybe even more if he's a late bloomer. For £10 million, Slavko Anacic, the Serbian winger, has signed for Sunderland. He was a player similar to Sif Helele Mabambo. He's decent, he's really good, he has the potential, but he was never actually good enough whenever he played for us. He spent last season on loan at PSG, of all teams, playing 17 games, scoring 1 goal. 10 million's probably a bit on the cheap side for him, but it was either that or we just let him rot in the reserves for another year. And another left-back to be leaving the club is Ivan Petrovic, the Serbian fullback, has signed for Leicester. I nearly said on loan. He signed for Leicester permanently for £17 million. Spent last season, or was it last season? No, it wasn't last season. He spent last season on loan at Leicester. Once again, we say goodbye to Rafael Capone. This time he has signed for Juventus for just under £15 million. We bought him. I was hoping he'd be better than what he was. He's not great. We've got a lot of better defenders than him, so it was easier to just shift him on. And the big one, Rodgers, for £71 million, potentially raising to £85 million. Rodgers has signed for Bayern Munich. The wing-back, who played basically every game for us until the last couple of games, he was immense. For £13 million, we signed him from Corinthians a couple of seasons ago in January. For the time we've had him, the development this guy's had has been ridiculous. I'm quite sad to see him go, because I now need a right back, but also, for that money, you can't turn that money down. In terms of the ins, I've kind of gone a bit mad and bought a load of youth players, and then realised that my transfer budget was £200 million. So far, I have not bought anyone massive. Next episode, I expect you'll probably see some big name players joining the club. First up through the door is Davy Onkasa, a Gabonese goalkeeper. That's the only reason why I bought him. He looked pretty decent. He's got maybe 3-star potential. The Gabonese goalkeeper, 2 under-20 caps. He's joined for pennies. Literal pennies. For £215,000, we've started to raid Serbia again. 18-year-old central defender Dejan Kreneta, has joined, got a load of potential, going to sit in the under-23s for a number of years before getting loaned out and then probably sold by the time he's 23. For £250,000, Mohamed Diallo, the Ivorian left winger who's getting retrained to be a wing-back, has signed. I'm going to try and loan him out. He looks decent. He doesn't, his mental stats aren't great. Determination maybe needs a bit more of that. Things like that. But he looks like a decent player. He's got 4-star potential. Maybe we need to get him a tutor. Another young African player to join is Mehdi Bokanga, a Congolese right-back who has signed for £275,000. I bought him mainly on his mental stats. 16 decisions, 20 determination. He's got some 12s there as well, 11s and 10s. Decent looking player, 1.5-star current, 3-star potential. Probably not good enough for our team. Will probably be sold to some mid-table La Liga side in about 3 years' time. We've still not broken the £1 million transfer fee barrier at the moment. For £655,000, Christopher Kayombo has signed from TP Mazembe in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Once again, another young African fullback. Again, decent mental stats. That's what I'm looking for in some of these players. He's got potential. He's decent at free kick. 15 free kicks. Awesome. That's pretty handy. Hopefully, he's going to get a couple of seasons at the under-23s, maybe get better. But to be honest, by that point, you're not going to be here. For £1.5 million, our scouts were wrong. Guilherme Sakanoko has signed, Ivorian central defender. They reckoned he was going to be amazing. He's here now. He's not that great. Back to Serbia for the next signing. Dragan Maric has signed from Partizan for £2 million, some number. It's about £2 million, £2.5 million, something like that. Central midfielder, currently out on loan at Cardiff, gone there straight away. Hopefully he's going to get a full season under his belt. At 18 years old, that's pretty good. For £2.5 million, Radivoj Banjak has also signed and gone out on loan to Bristol City. Again, another young Serbian player. He's 21, so he's a bit older than most. Going to spend the season at Bristol City, finishing 17, determination 18, balance 17. Agility 15, physical stats, ridiculous. Technical ability, very, very good as well. Dribbling 15. Dribbling 15 for a target man. How does that work? Oh, and I might have re-signed Russell Kingdon for the last season here because, memories. So we've sold £120 million worth of player. Only spent £7.75 million so far. I am looking at bringing in a world-class central defender to play alongside Ivan Oricalo. Not to replace him, to play alongside him. Players to go out on loan include German Cordoba, the goalkeeper, has gone out on loan to Hanover. Glenn Douglas to Salford, Goncalo to Viancano, sorry. Luke Morgan's gone to Watford, Dragan Maric has gone to Cardiff, as we mentioned. Jordan Fuller has gone to Nancy. Interesting fact about Jordan Fuller. He spent last season out on loan in Germany at Werder Bremen and managed to pick up the third place Young Player of the Year, basically, for the Bundesliga. That's ridiculous. He's a young Englishman playing in Germany. Radivoj Banjak has gone to Bristol City. James Sani has gone on loan to Real Madrid for the season. I don't know why I've loaned him out, but when Real Madrid come knocking, you kind of go, you know what? Go out on loan, enjoy yourself. Paul Harvey has gone to Bristol City as well. Constant Diaby has gone to Stoke. What's that? Constant Diaby still here? You're damn right he is. So between the end of the season and now, the Ivory Coast have played 5 games. He played all 5 of them. His contract expired. I then offered him a new contract and he was awarded a work permit. He was sat in Blackburn for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks without a contract at all. Offered him a new contract. He finally signed on and then went out on loan to Stoke. If he plays first team football all season for Stoke, that's going to be great for his development and he might come back actually a much more useful footballer. Iranian midfielder Hassan has gone out on loan to VfB Stuttgart in Germany. Roland Barlow, the young striker, has gone on loan to Preston. He's just turned 17 about a month ago, so he's going to spend the season out on loan at Preston. Oscar Salazar has gone to Hanover to join German Cordoba. Thomas Valenta has gone on loan to Eibar. Charlie Briggs has gone to Aston Villa, and Dave Shepherd has gone to Ipswich. Right, that's enough admin for today, or for the start of this episode. We might do a little bit afterwards. Up next then, Community Shield match against Arsenal. Can we win it for the second year in a row? We're not quite at the Arsenal game just yet, but it is the end of an era. Andrea Damjanov, the Bulgarian attacking midfielder, he's gone out on loan to Lille for the season. He is still a player. I didn't want to sell him, but I'm thinking at this age, at 29 years old, he probably wants to be getting more first team football, so I've sent him out on loan for the season. We are back at Wembley then. 90,000 tickets have been sold for the Community Shield final. Blackburn versus Arsenal. It's not really an important game, but getting another trophy in the cabinet will not be a bad thing. The starting lineup for Blackburn versus Arsenal in the Community Shield will be in goal Juan Pablo Velez, Boban Stevkovic, Ivan Urocalo and Lucas Bay will be making a start today following his return from his loan spell. This is Lucas Bay, 20-year-old Danish wonder kid. Spent last season on loan at Freiburg, in the German Bundesliga. Decent player, needs first-team football. Probably this season he might get a lot, although I am buying a very expensive central defender. The two fullbacks will be Joachim Tobiasen and Andres Gomez. Yep, Andres Gomez, the striker, is going to be playing as a right-sided wing-back because Branko Markovic is injured and I sold Rodders for £70 million. Dennis Montoya will be partnered with young German midfielder Daniel Olwang in the centre of the pitch. Adam Fenton, Francisco Foster and Gustavo Ortuzo will be the front three. This is Daniel Olwang. He's a defensive midfielder, although we are actually going to be operating him about there as a ball-winning midfielder. So he's decent, very good young player once again, probably needs to up his aggression. I don't know how to do that, maybe steroids. For the final season in charge of Blackburn, I don't think there is going to be a huge amount of transfer business and changes. The starting 11 is going to be very similar, apart from maybe Stevkovic or Luiz might be dropping out of the starting 11, and we're probably going to need to sign a new right wing back. So the rest of it's probably going to stay very similar. Oh, I forgot to change my suit. I should be wearing an all-gold suit with a blue tie. Corner for Blackburn. Montoya takes it. Olwang is there. He's hit it just over the bar. Good start from the young German. Urukalo with a free kick to Gomez, the makeshift right wing-back. Montoya. Dennis Montoya, where is he going to go? He's forced it out wide to Gomez. Vieira, no relation to Patrick. Forward to Whelan. Pellegrini on the halfway line, who's got to be about 47 years old now. Reece Nelson, who's also got to be about 47 years old now. Havenar. Cross-field ball to Whelan. Whelan forward to Pellegrini. He's not going to get there. Stevkovic gets there instead. Back to the keeper, Velez. Velez to Urukalo. Across to Lucas Bay, the 18-year-old Danish international. I'd say international. I assume he is. Ortuzo's going to run onto that from Fenton. Runs into the area. Has a go. Cruz makes a very nonchalant save. Gives away a corner. Fenton's corner comes into the 6-yard box and it's cleared. We're going to get another one. It was Pietro Pellegrini of all players to clear it. Fenton's corner is whipped in. Bay is there and it is cleared only as far as Montoya on the volley over the bar. Optimistic from the Costa Rican. Velez with a goal kick finds Lucas Bay. Tobiasen. It's been all Blackburn so far this game. They've not actually had a shot at all. All the highlights have obviously been us so far. Tobiasen gets the ball into Montoya. Montoya is doing ridiculous business in the middle of the park. Montoya again on the ball, constantly. He's the centre of attention. Fenton gets tackled but does win the ball back. Runs out wide, has a go himself, hits it wide of the mark. Was probably a better idea to pass it. Corner for Arsenal. Reece Nelson takes it. Urukalo can head clear. Ortuzo controls. Forward to Foster. Foster's got Fenton as the only player up there. Does find him. Takes it out wide. 3 in the box, maybe 4. Crosses in, Ortuzo's there on the volley. It comes back out to Francisco Foster, who volleys it into the back of the net. 23 minutes on the clock. We are 1-0 up in the Community Shield final, and it could be our second Community Shield in as many years. It was actually the same person who scored the winning goal in last season's one as well. Fenton's corner. Olwang's there. Olwang hits it over the bar once again. Montoya takes a corner, sorry. It's cleared by Ribeiro. Portanova's going to run onto it. Plenty of space. Just decides to kick it upfield to Reece Nelson in the centre circle. Urukalo's chasing back. Diaz on the right-hand side. He's got Stevkovic for company. Diaz forced out wide. Crossed in. Velez makes a very easy save. Now, what are you going to do? I was expecting that to be the actual highlight. Bay gets the ball. This is risky. Passing it about. Stevkovic to Montoya. Montoya to Fenton across. Joachim Tobiasen. Can he get round his man? Go on, Joachim. Doesn't bother in the end. Finds Dennis Montoya, he's literally every highlight is all over Montoya. Foster's in the area. Save from Cruz. It's going to be another corner. Fenton to take. Gone for the 6-yard box. Wang is there again. It's going all over the place. We've had about 4 shots in there. I think Wang had one. Lucas Bay also had one. Tobiasen with the throw to Bay. Bay leaps to tackle Ortuzo. Bay once again. It's going all over the place and Francisco Foster has made it 2-0. Lucas Bay getting himself an assist on his first ever start for the club as well. According to match stats, Daniel Olwang in the middle is on a 6.4. He's done well from what I've seen. He's always on the end of crosses. Maybe he's just not doing very well when he gets on the end of crosses. Foster's into the area. Is he going to get a hat-trick? He doesn't. Ortuzo has a go, though, from just outside the area. It's 3-0, 38 minutes on the clock. We are going to be taking home this trophy. Half-time, and it is 3-0 to the good. It is all one-way traffic. I'm not going to do any subs at the moment. Although Daniel Orwang might be coming off, but he keeps getting in really good areas, particularly on corners. He's having loads of chances, but he's just not putting them away. Tobiasen with a throw to Foster, crossed in, finds Gomez to Fenton. Fenton has a go in the back of the net. 56 minutes on the clock, 4-0. Now let's do some subs. Let's do a sub, just the one. It is going to be Orwang for Torres. That's all we're going to do. Stevkovic is booked. Right, we're going to bring you off as well for Perez. And we've only got one sub left to do. 20 minutes left to play. It has been all Blackburn. I don't think they've actually had a proper highlight at all into the final 10 minutes. Nothing is happening this half. Final substitution. Ortuzzo is coming off. Paul Oakdina is going to come on. We've got 10 minutes left to play. This isn't actually a proper highlight, is it? This is just because of the substitutions. 7 minutes of normal time to play. Gomez gets the ball. Tobiasen in the area. Tobiasen has a go. Hits the outside of the post. We've picked up a couple of yellow cards. Full-time whistle has blown and we are celebrating once again, this time in our away kits. I think that's the first trophy we've won whilst wearing our away kits. Community Shield winners. Simple, easy, put it in the cabinet. Ronnie Clayton Park has another trophy already and we've not even kicked a ball there. Right, the transfer window closes in about 4 days. So what we're going to do, this episode's going to end the moment the transfer window shuts. I will keep you up to date with any transfer business that goes on. First bit of news, Lee Butler, the English striker, has gone on loan to Wigan for the season. Spent last year at Bristol City scoring 7 goals in 22 games. Hopefully he can kick on again. He's still only 18, so he's got plenty of time still to develop. He's also worth £10.5 million somehow. We are on 9:30 in the morning on transfer deadline day and there's been some business in the centre-back department. That's right, Glenn Bell, the English defender, has gone on loan to Leeds for the season. It's not the only bit of business. We have just smashed our record transfer signing, £70 million. Jonathan Siriu, the 29-year-old Belgian central defender, 102 caps for Belgium, formerly of Real Madrid. He's won basically everything you can possibly win in Spain because it's Real Madrid and it's very easy to do that. But Jonathan Siriu, Belgian central defender, will be partnering Ivan Uricalo at the back and another person who's probably going to be, what's his name? Luis, that's his name, this guy. Another couple of hours have passed and we have signed another player. Brazilian right-sided midfielder, who can also play as a right wing-back, Wilson has signed for just under £10 million from Vasco da Gama. Now, where did we have someone like that before? He's quite similar to Rodders. Obviously, he's not as good as Rodders, but he's quite similar to Rodders. He's a little bit slower, a little bit less physical, but defending, vision-wise, is the same. Mental is very similar, attacking is very similar, technical is very similar. Aerially, doesn't matter, he's a wing-back. And another deadline day signing, and it's another right-back. Argentine right-sided defender, can also play centre-back. Unlikely he's going to be playing centre-back. Aerially, he's awful. Ricardo Erpen has signed from Huracan. He's going to cost about £6 million. Currently out with a hernia, but we don't need him first team straight away. He will probably get quite a few games this season. A player to leave the club on deadline day is 22-year-old Serbian midfielder Dejan Lakisevic. He's gone out on loan to Derby for the season. First team football for another year will help his development massively. And that is it, the window has closed. One big marquee signing then for us in the shape of Jonathan Siriu. Rodders going and leaving, going off to Germany, £71 million, potentially £85 million. That is a huge amount of money for a player who, let's be honest, wasn't that great. So if you take a look at our first team, I know this might be a little bit confusing to look at. We've got two first team keepers, Juan Pablo Velez and Gil, same keepers that we've had now for a couple of years. The back three, we've got choices, Siriu, Perez, Luis, Julian Ortiz. I tried to loan him out, no one wanted him. Ivan Uricalo, Boban Stevkovic and Lucas Bay. So there is a lot of players there. Julian Ortiz probably just needs to leave, as he's going to be a little bit, well, he's probably 7th choice out of all of those, isn't he? Similar to Boban Stevkovic and Luis. I didn't realise how bad Luis was. Maybe Walter Perez is our new central defender. In terms of right-sided fullbacks, Branko Markovic is our fullback. Ricky Rigo, the central defender, I'm training up to be a wing-back on the right. Javier Sotulo is also going to be trained up to be a wing-back on the right-hand side as well. Not to mention, Wildson is also going to get trained up to be that position. On the left-hand side, we have Joachim Tobiasen, an injured Ahmed Bassouni, and Mohamed Diallo, the new signing from the Ivory Coast, so I think we're pretty well suited on the right and left-back positions now. Midfielders are looking a bit slim. Dennis Montoya, Daniel Orwang and Hector are going to be the 3 central ball-winning midfielders. Popovic and Torres, the only Mazzalas that we're training. Let's change you up to be a Mazzala, because you're going to play the Mazzala role. Nikola Popovic currently out suspended, so we're going to have Montoya Torres and Popovic as the Mazzala. It's not too bad. Shadow strikers, just the 2, Adam Fenton and Prince Nelson Guidetti, but that's more than enough. Russell Kingdon, not going to get a game, if I'm perfectly honest. If we get to like an FA Cup final, he'll probably play it, but I don't know why I bought him. I really don't know why I bought him. Versatile Argentine striker Andres Gomez is going to be obviously one of our strikers. Ortuzzo, Oakdina, Foster, and Daniel Knezovic is still here, but he might end up going out on loan, because I think some of the other transfer windows are open. Just like to point out, when we sort this by ability, we have 5 players who are 4.5-star ability. That is 5 players who are beyond world class. They are the best in the universe. Then we've got 4 players, is that? Yes, 4 players who are 4-star ability as well. So let's have a look at the 4.5 stars. Francisco Foster, the American. Filth. Absolute filth. And he's not even our best striker. 22 goals in 23 appearances. Decent little turnaround for the striker who I think cost about £10 million. My boy, Ivan Uricalo, 22 years old now, still a child, 123 appearances for Blackburn, 5 goals as well, plenty of trophies. We've had him for a long time now. For £2.1 million, I think that was an absolute bargain. The Ginger Wizard, who for some reason has shaved his hair off, Paul Oakdina, is up next. £61 million worth of English striker. 5 caps and 2 goals for England. That is very disappointing. But I guess when you've got, what's his name? Daz Phillips, I think the Manchester United striker, as England's #1 striker, I can understand why he doesn't get in. As an out-and-out striker, Paul Oakdina is ridiculous. He should be getting more chances. He really should. He's been here for... This is his 10th year at the club. He joined when he was 14, apparently. Another Englishman is Adam Fenton. He's only got 5 caps as well. Ridiculous player. He's been at the club his entire life. 225 games. Just the 30 goals for the shadow striker, but I think the first couple of years I played him as a winger, didn't I? And finally, the Brazilian beast, the 5'10" Brazilian international now with 9 caps and 1 goal. £67 million worth of Brazilian ridiculousness, I think, is probably the only thing I can really say. 96 goals so far and 140 appearances in the last 5 years. But my word, what a 5 years they have been. 28 goals last season, 19 the year before, 28 the year before that, 21 the year before that. He's a 20-goal-a-season striker, guaranteed with this formation. For £19 million, I remember when I bought him, I thought that was steep. I now think he's worth easily £100 million, if not more. I've also just noticed Gustavo Ortuzzo is now a club legend. He's a club legend. Gustavo, the first one we've managed to do. Gustavo Ortuzzo is a club legend. We've also developed another rivalry with Chelsea due to our competitive nature in the Premier League and the Champions League and various other competitions. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Football Manager 2018 with Blackburn Rovers. Sorry if it was a long one. It's taken me the best part of an hour to record this, which is normally not a thing that happens. It's normally about 40 minutes. Next episode, we are going to have the first 2 games of the season. Manchester City away. Big game to open the season with. And then the first ever match at Ronnie Clayton Park. We've not even played a pre-season friendly there. So the first ever match at Ronnie Clayton Park will be against Sunderland. And we'll be there for that one as well. Thanks very much for watching. If you did enjoy, if you wouldn't mind leaving a like. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. And I will see you next time.